Lesson 3 in Module 1, Graphs of Exponential Functions, is most likely taught in conjunction with Lesson 2 in the previous video, Graphs of Quadratic Functions. So, keeping that in mind, the instructional outcomes are going to be the same as Lesson 2, which is to represent graphically a nonlinear graph relationship between two quantities and interpret features of the graph, and to choose and interpret the scale of a graph to approximately represent an exponential function. And so this is a short lesson designed to look at a video for the most part and then to kind of sum up what a student represents in that perspective. So in lesson 3, we skip example 1 and go straight into example number 2, which is a class discussion on a video about bacteria growth. And so what we're going to preview is about a 15-second video that's going to give us a little bit of information that the teacher is going to ask for the students to say what did they hear, what is going on with the bacteria, and so forth. And the teacher may play the video several times for the student to look at and see. So we'll take a moment and observe that video now.
Bacteria reproduce very simply and rapidly by doubling their contents and splitting in two. Just one bacteria, dividing every 20 minutes, could produce nearly 5,000 billion bacteria in one day.
So the keywords that the teacher is looking for the student to observe is that every 20 minutes we expect the bacteria to double in quantity. And that perspective is what the students want to be able to extract from the video, and then they may begin to fill in this chart as they see it from that video notation. So again, here we are, noting that every 20 minutes the bacteria is going to double. So if we note that the number of bacteria started with 2, and we ask the students, well, if it continues to double every 20 minutes, the student is going to say 4, and then doubling again will be 8, and then 16, and as it continues to double, 32, 64. And the whole idea is for the student to observe that the numbers get really, really large very, very quickly. And so in class, we'll ask the students to take a chart that looks like this in their book on page 11 and graph some of these particular points as to where they think they're going to be at. So if we looked at graphing some of these, 0, 2 obviously would be way down here at the bottom. And then we won't graph them all, so we'll graph 0 to, maybe we'll go to 60, and then 16 is again still way down here at the bottom. And we want the students to note that over that time, over an hour, it doesn't appear to be growing very rapidly. But if we go forward to, say, 120 minutes into the video, which is here, and go up to 128, you are looking more along this region here as we go forward. And if we kind of skip down to, let's just say, 220, so at 220 we're up to 4,000 at that point, which is probably around this location here approximately. And then if we talk about 300 minutes, we go all the way up to the 65 range, which is way up here. And the whole idea, while not perfect, is to get the students to understand that we're going to get a curve that is going to very quickly grow up, or in other words, what we call our exponential growth, as compared to what we looked at in lesson 2, the quadratics. And so we continue to bring it in and look at the same thing again in example number 2, just brings it in one more time. If we talk about hours, 0 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and 5 hours, as opposed to when we looked at it in terms of minutes in the previous example there, versus following up with hours. And the students would get the same graph each time, just written in hours. And so as we sum this one up, again, the whole purpose is for students to realize, not master in terms of everything. That's where a later module, Module 5, is going to come into play, or not Module 5, but Module 4. And then we'll look at the differences between a linear growth compared to looking at a quadratic growth, which grows in this direction and matches its equal and symmetric design in this fashion here, versus the one that we introduced in this lesson, lesson 3, that exponential growth, where it grows slowly at first and then all of a sudden it grows very, very quickly.